private sector business with startup expertise. So, if you are an entrepreneur with a unique company concept, you may be qualified for the Startup Visa program, which allows you to move to Canada. Canada is searching for exceptional entrepreneurs who will help the country's economic grow while also providing jobs for its citizens. To gen more on the topic, today we have Advocate Shashwat Jindal sir. Mr. Jindal is the director of the Jindal Solicitor and Associates. He specializes in corporate laws, intellectual property right matters, data privacy and protection, and maritime law. He is multifaceted and hardworking. We also have Arushi Makker, who has been researching and working on various Canadian research projects, curating content articles around various Canadian startups, with Jindal Solicitor and Associate as their legal intern. Hello, sir. Hi, Arushi. Welcome to mentor our session on Startup Visa Canada. So, what are your views on this topic?
Yes, thank you for your lovely introduction. We will like to, this is a very vast topic. So, in order to make it easier for our viewers, we have decided to, we have put together a short presentation which we would like to present. And let me connect it with the presentation. Just Yeah, so hi, we will this is a lovely presentation which was put together by me and Arushi. I had a lot of assistance from Arushi on this presentation, and and there were certain points in which she did a very in-depth research, and those points and we will be going on a point by point basis for this presentation. So here is the table of content. We will be discussing we will be giving a short introduction to the program, the qualifications you require for a startup visa program, whether an ownership requirement is necessary, how to apply for the visa, and what to do after you apply. Please keep in mind that whatever information we are giving you, if this is only for the purpose of education and before you take any step, you are advised to go to a RCICIC recognized person who can help you out and better guide you with things where you may have a doubt, because all of these processes are cost intensive, and I would always recommend that you go to a certified person before you take any step. So the first question is, what is the Canadian startup visa program? So this is specifically targeted towards entrepreneurs or investors who are willing to build a business Canada and create a pool of jobs for local people. The Canadian government wants to attract investors from all over the world, and not only investors, because well, for the startup visa program, you don't actually require to put in any investment. So for the startup visa program, they are asking you for ideas. They come you to ask you to come and put in ideas into the Canadian startup sphere and help it expand. So the primary benefits of entering through this program are that there is no age limit, there is no complex express entry point based system. You don't have to worry about your CRS score, or about getting a certain very high IELTS qualification, or all the other things, or so you just so it kind of bypasses that. The One of the primary benefits of being accepted into the startup visa program is that you get a PR status or a permanent residency status. The benefit of getting accepted into the startup visa program is that even if your startup fails, you still retain your PR status. One of the primary one of the primary benefits of this is that you get an opportunity to enter a fast growing developed economy, and you're able to take your entrepreneurship dreams to a higher level. While you're going through the startup visa program, you can apply for a work permit and shift to Canada and start working while your visa is under process. And more than one foreign national can apply for benefit under the startup visa program with a cap of maximum five.
So
So the
to
next topic, the next topic regarding qualifications, Arushi has done a very great research on this, and she will be elaborating it on it further.
So to move ahead with your Canada Startup Visa program, you need to meet certain qualifications which are a must. Like you need to have a great business idea. If you go move overseas to Canada and you don't have a business idea, it's a very vague business idea that doesn't make sense. So you need to have a very established business idea with what you're going to work, which products you're going to launch, who will be your co-founders, who will be your investors. You need to formulate that business idea before actually applying for the startup visa program. You need to have a letter of support from a designated entity. A designated entity can be a venture capital fund, or it can even be an angel investor funding in the initial stage of your startup, like the seed funding process. And it's the best if you get accepted as a business incubator group. Then you don't need to have much investment. We'll be looking forward in our next slides through this. You need to have settlement funds for you and your family members. Like if you're moving out of your country and establishing your startup over there, you need to secure certain funds, because the Canadian government doesn't provide funds for your personal settlement. So it's updated on the IRCC website, like the how many number of members you're going, and accordingly the price of it. And you need to have a very basic language test score of CLB 5 in English and NCLC 5 in French. In a future slides, we'll be talking about which test you can take to secure. And the rest of the qualifications are very rudimentary, like a clean criminal record. Obviously you can't just do any crime in your own country and move to another country, so which can be certified by a police agency of your country. And you need to be medically fit to travel and do a business in a different province.
Thank
Yes.
you, Arushi. That was very well put. And do you have anything else to share about this?
Yes, so we'll be moving for the qualifications like
Okay,
the TP.
yeah, okay.
Yes. So for
So
designated.
now, okay, please go on, please go.
Yes. In the qualifications, we mentioned that you need to have a designated entity and a letter of support from them. So basically, we have three of them, like the Capital Venture Fund, the Angel Investor Group, and the Business Incubator. They can help you building your startup. Like you just need to give your business proposal idea to them, and they'll decide that they want to invest in your business or not. And then you'll get a letter of support, and the investor organization then will set a commitment certificate to the IRCC agency. Uh, Okay, so for the IRCC requires your letter of support and a commitment certificate, which will be submitted to the designated entity to be eligible for the startup visa program. And if you are getting support from two venture capital or angel investor group, be it be, then you can have a syndication, like you're getting a support from more than one investor, and a joint certificate will be issued to you. The minimum amount which you must secure for your business is, in case of venture capital fund, you can have 2 lakh, it's 2 lakh CAD, and for angel investor you need to have 75,000 CAD. And if you're invested accepted your program as a business incubator program, then you need to have 0 CAD. You don't need any investment there. We have curated a few of the venture capital fund, angel investor, and business incubator program, which sir will be sharing it with you.
So here are a few of the most popular, actually, the venture capital funds and angel investor funds, which are designated by and accepted by the IRCC, and support for them for the minimum amount as described by Arushi. Will help you enter the startup visa program, and what you require is a letter of support which they will be giving to you, and a certificate from them, which they will be submitting directly to the IRC. Here are some amazing business incubators. Incubators, they not only help you with raising the funding, but they will also, but just getting accepted into an incubator can guarantee that your startup will be able to reach that level, because they are connected with you some really amazing people, and they really help launching your business to a great level. And you get to learn a lot from incubators. And obviously you don't need to raise any funds, so it makes it easier just getting into a business incubator. Once you are able to get a letter of support, and you're able to get support from a business incubator, angel investor, or a venture capitalist. The next criteria is that you must be having enough funds that you can come into Canada and you can sustain yourself, because the Canadian government, ultimately the main aim will be to bolster the economy, and they would want you to come and contribute to the economy instead of becoming a burden on the economy. And for that purpose, you require to have enough settlement funds with you into your in your account. It can be maybe even you may have them in your bank account, or you may have a fixed deposit, or but you should have that ready settlement funds with you. Please note that they do not usually they do not accept properties or any such assets which are highly fluctuating, and you need to have liquid cash in hand ready. So even if you have money in your demat account or in the form of stocks or shares, which can fluctuate a lot, they do not usually accept it. It should be either be a fixed deposit or a savings account. That is like the great best way. The criteria for settlement funds depends on how many people will be accompanying you. It may be you individually, you may be having certain family members, and so accordingly they have set a criteria for settlement funds. And for one member it's 12,960 CAD, and accordingly they have for two members it's 16,135 CAD, for three members it's 19,836 CAD, for four members it is 24,083 CAD, and for five members it is 27,315 CAD. And for every additional member you have to need to have around 3,942 CAD. I always recommend that you have a buffer of around 500 to 1000 CAD in your account, because mostly people, when they are before they're traveling, the money they have in their accounts is in the form of their home currency, and because of currency fluctuations, it's always better to keep a buffer of around 500 to 1000 CAD. And you should keep in mind that the amounts get updated every year, so you have to check whatever is the latest criteria for settlement funds. Then we will move on to the language requirements, because Canada, you must remember that it is predominantly an English speaking and a French speaking nation. And as you may know that Canada used to be a Commonwealth country, and so as a result, the you need to have a good command over English or French in order to be a part of Canada. And though, unlike for other programs, maybe if you go for the other programs like federal worker programs, or uh, even for some of the PNP programs, you need to have a higher benchmark, or even for a study visa program you need to have a higher benchmark of English language capabilities and French language capabilities. But for the startup visa program, they're relatively lower. So you need a CLB 5 for English, and for which in speaking you need which consists of examinations regarding speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And for the NCLC, which is for French, as well, you need a CLB score of 5. And For the language test, can for English can be either the acceptable language test is either the IELTS or the CELPIP, which is held by the Canadian government. And the IELTS exam, either you can get it done through the British certifying authority or from the IDP, which is the Australian certifying authority. And for French, you can either give the TCF or the TEF. uh, you will you will have to make sure that you're able to get the qualifying score, because if you are not able to get the qualifying score, your application will be refused. So please ensure that before you file the application, you are able to get the qualifying score, because just in order to file the application, you might there are some costs involved, and well, you will be wasting your money.
So
Then, yeah, then now Arushi will elaborate on what are the ownership requirements for and getting entering into the startup visa program.
So once you've made your business plan and you have met all the qualifying requirements which you need to have for the business startup plan, you need to make sure that you are qualifying for the ownership requirements as well. For business startup in Canada, they should be like 5 people. Be there can be the owner, not more than that. And for each applicant can hold only a required number of voting rights in the business, like it's mentioned over here in our PPT. And the designated investor can send the application jointly, and you can also do on your own basis also, and like 50% of the voting rights you can hold. This will help for the vital decision, like when you're holding a vital decision in the company, you need to have certain voting rights that you can push your decisions up. So you will be having a 50% of the voting right for the designated investor, and the applicant also can hold jointly with the designated investor, or otherwise they can hold a 10% individually. So now, when you have met all the requirements for the visa program and the ownership requirements, you can apply for the visa directly. The applicant can fill the requirement form, which is IMM 008, and the form should be filled very precisely. There should not be any errors on your end, and the best process is like you can click on validate option to see if something is wrong. That will be highlighted in bold red, and you will not receive a barcode. So you need to verify that, and then you can receive your barcode. Then you can get the form printed with a barcode and sign and put a date on it. The barcode page should be the first one on while you're sending your application to the IRCC. Like the barcode page should be a must, and then you have to make certain documents, and then they can be attached to your application. Like few of the documents are necessary. You can check them on IRCC website to know further clearance of it. Some of them which are must are the birth certificate, passport, marriage certificate, your language test report. Like if you're giving us a test of CLB and NCLC, you should qualify for the language test, and then you can attach your report. The letter of support from your designated investor. It can be any of the three, and a background history, like what your background history is, which is enclosed in form IMM 5669, and your travel history, like which mode you're traveling, when you're coming, what is your departure date, everything details should be enclosed in IMM 5562. And the family information, like we said, you need to secure certain settlement funds for the family in Canada. So family information, who are coming along with you, who are not coming along, which funds you're like, in which way you have liquid assets or anything like that, it should be enclosed with this form in IMM 5406. Then you need to print out the document checklist from the IRCC website, sign it, and include it as a cover page of your application before sending it to the IRCC agency. After that, it's application fees which you need to pay. The processing fees is $1575, and you need to have the permanent residence fees also attached to it. That is $500, and the biometric fees is $85 per person. It should be paid along so that there is no hassle later on that, oh, this fees is not permitted, so that my application fails. You need to make sure that you're fulfilling all the steps in a chronological manner so that your application is accepted and you can start your startup in Canada. After the fees are paid, you should have two copies of the receipts. One you can keep it for yourself, and one you can attach to the application. Then you can send your entire application package to IRCC. We have listed the IRCC centralized intake office, which is in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and there should be a hard copy enclosed in an envelope. Make sure that the application is fully complete. You're not missing out any documents. Your all the qualification requirements are made well in advance so that it gets completed, and IRCC will send it back. If it's not completed, IRCC will send it back anyway. So it will be a wastage of time and the amount. So it should be noted that it's complete and well checked. Yeah, like a proofreading is a must in this case. Now, sir will tell what is the process after the submission of the application is done.
So once the application has been submitted, the IRCC will send a letter and an email which will notify that they have received the application. They will provide the visa office file number. They will give some basic contact info, and they will give you an outline of future processing steps. The duration of this process is 12 to 16 months, and well, I really hope that it can be, sometimes it can also be a little longer if there are any complications with your documents. So it's, I always recommend that you please that you go to a qualified person who can ensure that all your documents are proper and in place, and a small mistake does not cost you time and money. And as I've mentioned before, yeah, that till the time your application is being processed, you can always apply for a temporary work permit and you can shift to Canada. The primary benefit of shifting to Canada a little ahead of time will be that you'll able to inculcate into the culture and learn the Canadian culture and way of life and way of working, so that when you're actually your startup visa gets approved, you can work in a very better way, and you'll already have a good knowledge of the Canadian culture and work life and way of working, and have a good system set up, so that when you actually so that when you actually start your startup, you don't have to focus on minute things such as how to live, or whether how to deal with the culture, because you already have be having a good knowledge about it. And once the application is processed, the application applicant as well the accompanying family members will receive the permanent Canadian permanent residence once your application is processed and approved by the IRCC. Thank you for viewing our presentation. I really hope we were able to give you some good guidance on how the startup visa program works and how it runs. And thank you.
That was an amazing session, sir. Thank you for joining us today. We are sure that the session helps the viewers in understanding about the startup visa mechanism in Canada. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you, Arushi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sunadya. Thank you for hosting us, and thank you so much.